Metro Manila, a cosmopolitan Asian city teeming with people, both rich and poor. Most of the poor in Manila today are not natives of the city, but displaced fishermen and farmers from the Philippine provinces. As the country's population continues to skyrocket, its fish supplies are dwindling, forcing thousands of fishermen to leave their coastal communities to find wage labor and somehow eke out a living on the economic edge of a modern city. For the wealthy food connoisseurs, Manila offers many delicacies, like live grouper or lapu-lapu, caught most often these days through the illegal use of toxic sodium cyanide, then air freighted to expensive fish restaurants throughout East Asia. The coral-rich province of Palawan is the last fish frontier and has become the major supplier of live fish to restaurants in Manila, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. The fish spawn and feed in these Palawan coral beds, which still contain over 61% of all coral species found in the world today. But the heightened demand for live fish is now forcing divers to dive deeper and chase the fish into the coral crevices. Here, 10 to 40 meters below the surface, Filipino divers are shooting over 65 tons of poisonous sodium cyanide each year into the coral, stunning the fish for an easy catch, but in the process, bleaching and killing the coral reef, one of the oldest living systems on the planet. A life-sustaining environment which has taken thousands of years to grow. For the fishermen here on Cuyo Island, the live fish trade and cyanide fishing have diminished their major source of food and protein, and have permanently damaged the coral reef homes where the fish spawn. Ty George is a traditional hook and line fisherman with a large family to feed. Each year, George is now out on the sea fishing for more hours and bringing home fewer fish for his hungry, growing family.
In one day, they can catch 30 pieces, as many, because they can force the fish to catch by using cyanide. Pero in our occasion, we only catch if the God will give us. We cannot force the fish. If the fish will not eat the bait, we cannot catch. By this time, the fish is going to be very scarlet, very few scar because of illegal fishing, cyanide, dynamiting, and most of all, our corals have been damaged by cyanide fishing. That boat is cyaniding. Mano, seaman post the cyanide.
Fishermen from other fish-depleted provinces are migrating to Palawan to chase fewer and fewer fish. These economically desperate migrant fishermen trying to support their own families are both the pawns and the frontline culprits in the illegal cyanide fish trade.
Our hearts is very sad for them that they destroy our fishing ground. They destroy the future of our children in the future. So we don't like them. If only the government can drop them, that's better.
But in this lucrative fish business, many have questioned if the government actually has the will to stop the illegal fishing. Today in the Philippines, it is most often the young people, those whose future is most at risk from a depleted environment, that are being called into action. In Cuyo and throughout the Philippines, a new generation of environmental activists is emerging, working on a project to protect coastal resources.
Hindi mo ibasulo ng iba, kung sa dagat may ng isda, ikaw mismo ang nagarangga, imong pangita.
Ruben Palarca is a barangay councilman. Ruben is also a musician and an environmental activist who uses music and drama to raise awareness of the coastal environment, performing in schools and community theater projects throughout the province.
Mayroong pagkakaiba. Kasi yung
There is a big difference here between the thinking of the old people and the younger generation.
natuturuan.
The older generation was not taught about protecting the environment or managing natural resources, so they are not involved with activities designed to protect the environment. But the younger people are the ones who are getting educated in schools and in workshops we are conducting. They are the ones learning how to make our environment sustainable and how to take care for the environment. This is the biggest difference. It is the young people here who are the ones with knowledge and they are ready to get active and do something with it.
To move away from relying only on fish, the project is developing alternative sources of food and livelihood.
This other pig is to be disposed by August 27, the eve of the fiesta.
Rochelle Lucero is a community organizer, helping families to start new businesses that reduce dependency on the sea.
So that's why they want to have alternative source of income to augment their daily consumption. So most people are backyard raising or backyard piggery. That's why they applied for the livelihood assistance in order to expand their backyard piggery. So we jointly and severally agree to abide with the policies and regulations of Small Island Sustainable Development Program. But upon the release of the loan, we shall pay the first amortization due to on 26th day 200 times 8 months. That is 1,600. That biggest challenge I consider in my job as a livelihood officer is the success the program would give to the people.
Thank you.
After several amounts were given to them, whether they are able to sustain this or not.
For groupers, if you can catch 3 fish, that's enough. Because for the high price, live fish. But for the example, for the little fish, bisugo, we need 10 kilos to survive. Long ago, I have 9 children. So if we cannot catch fish, we have no foods to eat. We cannot have the financial support for our family. Ang isda naman itong isda, 30 minutes. But if we catch fish, we're happy because we can support our family. This celebration for birthday ba? For my granddaughter, his birthday. That is the poorest celebration for the poor family.
I think the most difficult thing here is the poverty. That's why people are working hard just to improve their quality of life. Here in the Philippines, many youth are involved in the non-government organization, especially in social works, integrating with the people, especially the poor communities. That's why I work here, because I felt that there is a need to improve the quality of life here in the island.
Reagan Venturillo is a community organizer, also working for the Coastal Resource Management Project. Reagan is working to shift more fishing families into still other ways of feeding themselves and making a living. Seaweed is proving to be one viable alternative.
It is a family enterprise because the father, the mother, and the children is involved in this kind of activity. So everyone here you could find, from the little ones up to the old ones, doing planting of seaweeds. It is a marketable size. You could sell it at 20 pesos here at the local grower, but you could sell it at 40 pesos a kilo in a market, almost double the price. So it is a good business, good investment, little input and you have good production, so bigger income for the family.
Mangrove trees on the water's edge are part of a natural ecosystem that protects the coral beds and the fish. The roots of the mangrove tree filter and absorb the chemical fertilizers and silt from land runoff, nutrients for algae which choke the coral. But as more mangrove trees are cut down and used for building houses, nature gets out of balance.